the 40th anniversary of D-Day, Ronald Reagan gave a speech on Pointe Du Hoc. Here's an excerpt. We stand on a lonely, windswept point on the northern shore of France. The air is soft, but 40 years ago at this moment the air was dense with smoke and the cries of men, and the air was filled with the crack of rifle fire and the roar of cannon. At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped off the British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. Their mission was one of the most difficult and daring of the invasion, to climb these sheer and desolate cliffs and take out the enemy guns. The Allies had been told that some of the mightiest of these guns were here, and that they would be trained on the beaches to stop the Allied advance. The Rangers looked up and saw the enemy soldiers on the edge of the cliffs, shooting down at them with machine guns and throwing grenades, and the American Rangers began to climb. They shot rope ladders over the face of the cliffs and began to pull themselves up. When one Ranger fell, another would take his place. When one rope was cut, a Ranger would grab another and began his climb again. They climbed, shot back, and held their footing. Soon, one by one, the Rangers pulled themselves over the top, and in seizing the firm land at the top of these cliffs, they began to seize back the continent of Europe. 225 came here after 2 days of fighting. Only 90 could still bear arms. Here's a map of the German bunkers on Pointe Du Hoc. The top of the map shows the forward observation post, a key objective. 655mm German gun emplacements like this model on Pointe Du Hoc threatened the Omaha and Utah Beach landings. They had to be taken out. The task was one of the most daunting of D-Day. Pointe Du Hoc lies 100 feet above the sea, and the only assault route was to scale the vertical cliffs, similar to these located next to Pointe Du Hoc. Weeks before D-Day, bombers began softening up Pointe Du Hoc. On the morning of D-Day, the battleship Texas unloaded round after round of 14-inch shells on Pointe Du Hoc. The ordnance directed at Pointe Du Hoc equaled the explosive power of the atomic bomb at Hiroshima. As soon as the Texas's bombardment ended, Rangers under the command of Aggie James Earl Rudder were scheduled to begin their assault. Rudder was ordered to stay on the ship. General Huebner, in overall command of Omaha Beach, told Rudder, "We're not going to risk getting you knocked out in the first round." Rudder responded, "I'm sorry to have to disobey you, sir, but if I don't take it, it may not go." Brits drove the boats carrying the Rangers. The Brits had added light armor to the boats, which slowed them and caused them to ride lower in the water. In the choppy seas, one of the boats swamped almost immediately, which was a 10% force reduction. As Rudder's boat approached the shore, he discovered that the coxswain was steering the boat towards Pointe de la Perque, seen here, located to the east of Pointe Du Hoc. Rudder got the coxswain to turn the boat, but the convoy now had to run parallel to the bluffs and German fire for more than a mile. Worse, the Rangers' landing was delayed 35 minutes, giving the Germans time to emerge from their bunkers following the bombardment from the Texas. As the Germans massed on the edge of the cliff, the Rangers appeared doomed. Then the destroyer Satterlee opened up and drove the Germans back from the cliffs. To climb the cliffs, the Rangers fired grapnels with ropes and ladders attached. Because the lines were soaked with seawater, many fell short. Enough succeeded for the Rangers to make their courageous climb. Some had trouble getting a grip with the slippery, muddy ropes. Others free climbed. Within 5 minutes, the first Rangers were at the top. After another 10 minutes, most of the Rangers had followed. Once the Rangers made it to the top, the craters from the bombing and the bombardment became ready-made foxholes, providing crucial cover. The situation was chaotic, with Germans popping out of bunkers and hiding holes all across Pointe Du Hoc to fire a few rounds and disappear. The Rangers, however, all proceeded immediately to their specific individual objectives. A machine gun nest, which had inflicted heavy damage during the landing, was now raking any exposed Americans. Rangers detached to eliminate it discovered that they would have to cross hundreds of meters of open, coverless ground. Rudder told them to wait. The Rangers' radios were out of commission, but Rudder had insisted on bringing an old Navy signal light and forced his Rangers to learn Morse code, just in case. Using the signal light, the Rangers were able to direct fire from the Satterlee, which walked in rounds, blowing the machine gun nest from the cliff. The Rangers immediately began a patrol. They were desperate to find the 155mm guns. Following the tracks of one of the guns, a pair of Rangers discovered them in camouflage positions, ready to fire on Utah Beach. But there were no Germans. Fearing a shell might hit the ammunition dump during the bombardment, the Germans pulled back. The Rangers could see about 100 Germans across an open field, the length of a football field, waiting for the Rangers to be cleared from the cliff so they could reoccupy the forward observation post and began shelling other American positions. The Rangers disabled 3 of the 6 guns with thermite grenades, scrambled to collect more grenades from other Rangers in the area, and then disabled the remaining 3 guns. In the afternoon, Rudder had the Satterlee signaled with, "Located Pointe Du Hoc, mission accomplished, need ammunition and reinforcement, many casualties." Rudder was told there were no reinforcements and instructed to hold out. For 48 hours, Rudder's Rangers beat back every German counterattack, holding Pointe Du Hoc. Out of 225 Rangers, less than 50 were still able to fight by the time the forces relieved.